doing today? It is Killdozer Day. If you guys don't know, 21 years ago, Marvin Heemeyer decided that he would take back his, I don't know, personal pride, maybe. Basically, the story goes that he was a good man that was pushed too far and decided to take matters into his own hands. The story ended tragically when he took his own life after destroying the ones who wronged him. It was a tragedy, and at the same time, it created this kind of legend that lives on even today. It is very fascinating. But today on the Cowboys and Indians podcast, you guys, we do have a couple of different topics to bring up, but I'm going to try something a little bit different today. Okay, I do want to get our sponsor out of the way first, so I would like to play these. Shopwithamerica.us.
You're supposed to say, "How are you doing, Steve?"
Steve, how are you doing? I was going to do that after I play the commercial.
Oh shit! Go ahead, roll the footage.
All right, here it goes.
Welcome to Shop with America, where the emphasis is on America. Our movement is to switch away from your shopping with the big box stores and the mega corporations back to supporting family-owned, made in America. We've been giving these big box stores our money every day for years. But what's happened is they forced many small businesses to shut down. We call this the illusion of choice. We see all these products in these stores, but in reality, it's only a few companies that control it all. There are thousands of lawsuits for health damage because they put profit over our people. But there is another choice. We found a better way. There's a family-owned American factory with product integrity and have always done things the right way for the right reasons. And this company outperforms the big box stores. That's due to their month-to-month shopping club. They make everyday consumer products that we all use and buy again and again, like toothpaste, shampoo, coffee, and organic beef. Go to shopwithamerica.us today.
Good evening, you guys. Please go to shopwithamerica.us to actually change the way that we sponsor our own people. We sponsor the country. The way that we vote with our dollar on the daily. You buy toothpaste, you buy meat, you buy toilet paper, you buy cleaning products. Stop paying for the ones that come from overseas. Start paying for made in America, family-owned companies that'll get shipped to your house within 2 days. It's easier, it's more convenient, and you're supporting America. Go to shopwithamerica.us. Let them know that we sent you. Steve, how are you doing today?
Man, I am peachy. I'm good tonight, dude. I'm so fired up for this podcast. We get to talk about Ghetto Raggedy Ann and a few other things. Man, I'm so fired up for this. We're going to make it a good one. Hey, guys, if you're in this live stream, back out super quick. Share the shit out of this. Let's see if we can break 10K tonight. We're at 1,000 right now. Let's go.
Yeah, 10K, man. That'd be a lot of fun. And hopefully, you guys can keep coming back and enjoying this podcast. We do have Conspiracy Fridays now, and we actually have some interesting news coming up as to who we're going to be partnering with. It'll be pretty cool. I will, I guess, maybe tell you about that a little bit later, Steve.
A little teaser.
Yeah,
you're giving me just the tip of the information.
It's pretty cool, man. I'm actually excited for it, and I think that it's going to help change the way that we're able to do this, and not have to just keep doing it, at the end of a work day and getting really kind of last second, podcast in. So
okay,
we'll see. All
right, we'll see.
Yeah. A lot of big news coming up. And if you guys didn't know, Eddie was able to make a stream today if you guys go to rumble.com/thepatriotsprayer, or my page on X, and even Steve's page today, you guys could see that Eddie was able to interview DJ and his dad, Theotis. If you guys didn't see the big hubbub that DJ and Theotis want to start hosting events to raise money for kids with cancer. And it's going to happen. Right. He was reaching out to Jason Aldean. We reached out and did everything we could to get them in contact. And it sounds like things are going well, so that there are going to be events, and we're going to be hosting. We're not going to be hosting them, obviously, But there will be events to raise money for kids with cancer.
Right.
So that's going to be really cool. DJ and Theotis, they're good people, good Americans, and
They're awesome people, dude. Really.
they really are.
Yeah,
But
I jumped on Eddie's live stream earlier, and I was like, "Hey, let Theotis know like we're supposed to still meet up or whatever," because they're back in town. So I haven't gotten a text from him yet. I might reach out to him because I don't know if you guys knew, we had Tom McDonald on with us. He wanted to meet Tom McDonald, and I told DJ that I would give him a combat patch of mine for his bravery. So I wanted to hand that to him in person. So
yeah,
hopefully within the what?
I was wondering what it was, because I remember you were saying that you wanted to give him something, and I just couldn't remember what it was.
Yeah, it's a combat patch. So I'm gonna let him choose either between the 82nd Airborne and the 101st Airborne. So we're gonna settle the debate which airborne division is the best.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I don't know much about that, but it sounds cool.
It's the 80 Deuce and the Screaming Chickens. Whatever. They kind of go after each other, but anyways. Anyways. So what's our first?
I'm excited for that to happen. That's going to be happening in July, August, as far as the event goes. DJ and Theotis. If you guys didn't know that, Theotis is actually going to be informing us tomorrow about the MRI that DJ's getting. So he's actually going through some.
Right.
He's going through it right now. And what's really cool to see is that the kid, he not only has a positive attitude for himself, but he wants to, with the attention that he's gotten. A lot of kids, like, you don't know what's going to happen when kids get that kind of attention. And his first instinct was to try and raise money for other kids going through the same shit that he's going through.
It's amazing, dude. Like, yeah, it's like it just shows how brave him and his father are, because they could, be out of the limelight or whatever and just deal with it personally, but they're choosing to take this as an opportunity to help other people. And that's very selfless, in my opinion. And that takes courage and bravery, and a lot of the things I admire with DJ and Theotis, how they're taking advantage of a really terrible situation,
Yeah, it's beautiful. So I just wanted to get that out of the way and kind of, show some support. And if you guys can, if you ever see anything about DJ Daniels or Theotis, is it Daniels? Am I screwing up their last name?
Daniels.
Okay, all right. For some reason, I thought it was something else right after I said that. But if you guys ever see him online, do anything you can to support him. I know that they're good friends of the podcast here, of the Patriots Prayer Network as a whole. So we're going to be working with them and doing everything we can to, raise money for kids with cancer. If you guys didn't know, I am also a cancer survivor. I had a very aggressive form of thyroid cancer at 14 years old. They stole my thyroid from me to save me from the cancer. So... it is one of those things that it's something that a lot of people will be familiar with through friends and family, but it does really affect the people in this country. So if you can support them as much as possible. Thank you, Gizmo. I appreciate that.
Gizmo's the man.
Gizmo's the man.
Just don't feed him after midnight. Then he gets really angry. You ever watch, you know what I'm talking about? Okay.
On to today's news. Well, actually, I guess this week's news. But there's a couple of different things going on. The first one, which I'm not sure how to take this yet. I'm not 100% on board with propping this up as much as we're about to do. But Karine Jean-Pierre, are you familiar with her?
Ghetto Raggedy Ann, I think. That's who we're talking about? Oh, yeah. I know her.
Yep.
Oh,
so
yep.
It appears that she is leaving the Democratic Party. Oh, hang on. I'm trying to zoom in here. Make this.
Oh, please don't. Oh, thought I didn't have to see her again.
There she is. If you guys don't remember, she was the one who never actually answered any questions and did a phenomenal job of saying a lot of words without actually transferring any information. It was amazing.
Okay.
It was incredible.
Let me pause you there. I think she was okay. As terrible as she was better than Jin Saki, or the circle back girl.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm gonna have to get back with you on that. Let me circle back.
let's circle back to that. Yeah.
Oh, God.
But you guys, so former White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre has become an independent after serving under 2 Democratic presidents. I didn't even know she served under 2. Anyway, the big picture of Jean-Pierre encounters with White House supporters grew tense last year among questions concerning former President Biden. So supposedly she is going to be writing a tell-all book.
Okay. Like how they told all about his dementia and everything. Okay.
Or like the way that she decided to cover everything up as much as she could, be part of the deception, actually be one of the main parts of the deception. And it's really frustrating seeing these people. When I say these people, I mean people like Karine Jean-Pierre, people like Jake Tapper, the ones who actually concocted this entire deception. It's like you and me, right? We could see through it. We could say that guy's clearly not stable. You guys in the audience, I'm sure you could see that Biden was not all there. But
they even knew, dude. Come on.
Oh, dude. They definitely knew. But they knew this, and they decided to participate in the deception and be a main force in driving it. Be the driving force behind it to the American people. And now they're writing all these books and wanting to make money off of it. Like, oh, I was just trying to do my job and preserve American democracy by helping out the American choice. They voted for the president, so I was doing my best to represent and No, it's like,
do that dance again, Mo.
Dude, unless we as a collective, as we the people decide to start telling the truth, then we will continue to have presidents like this. We will continue to see our debt just grow and grow and grow. And meanwhile, we get more poor and more poor, and our kids won't live the life that we want them to. They won't live in a free country.
No, I know, dude. It's kind of like it's retarded in my opinion. Like she covered up or created this narrative over the last 4 years that Joe Biden was the best thing since sliced bread. And then all of a sudden, once that ship is crumbling, they're revealing all these truths that we knew all along. Now she's like, oh, what I'm going with my conscience. I'm going to be independent now. No, now you're an independent retard. So we know this, dude. And the problem is no one is ever held accountable for anything, dude. Never. And that's what's pissing me the fuck off about this country, is because I know, like, we have all of this evidence and all these crimes and all this stuff. And dude, nothing is happening and people are getting pissed off, and rightfully so. And we're going to talk about the debt ceiling here in a little bit with Elon Musk and, versus Trump and all that stuff. But dude,
side note, we aren't having Elon Musk on. We're going to talk about the debt ceiling, about what Elon Musk said.
Dude,
not with
we
it.
would have like 3 million people in this podcast right now.
Hey, actually, if anybody knows Elon Musk, I'd be more than happy to have him on the podcast. Just saying.
Yeah. Anybody in the audience? Y'all know Elon? Got him. He got his digits. Please.
Yeah. Hey, we'll stream it exclusively on X. Even I'm willing to compromise and say that we won't stream on Rumble, we won't stream on YouTube's, we won't stream on Facebook. We will exclusively stream on X if Elon Musk comes on.
Tag Elon.
Yeah. So you guys, this is what she's saying. Okay. I think we need to stop thinking in boxes and think outside of our boxes and not be so partisan.
She thinks about boxes a lot, though, doesn't she? Sorry. Didn't mean to get you there.
Mostly just cutting them with scissors,
Got him. Continue. Sorry.
If you are willing to stand side by side with me, regardless of something, how you identify politically, and as long as you respect the community. So this is the part that I really take issue with. And as long as you respect the community that I belong to and vulnerable communities that I respect, I will be there with you. So basically, if you agree with all the propaganda bullshit, the LGBTQAI plus two-spirit nonsense crap, as long as you bend the knee to all of my whims, then we can be friends.
Yeah, exactly. What a fucking commie. Anyways. I mean, dude, like straight up. Oh, man. Believe everything I say and, be on my side, and then we can be friends. No, thank you.
That's the big reveal. That's how to be an independent in a Democrat's mind. I want to be an independent, but as long as you agree with everything I say and you never disrespect anybody that I like, then we can be friends.
Yeah. Okay.
So I got to bring this up here really quick. I posted this about an hour ago or so. Mm-hmm. But it is the perfect encapsulation of what the Democrats represent right now, or what the entire leftist movement represents. So check this out. This is a photo here posted on Facebook, and one of the lefties says, "Be kind. Be kind." It's got the rainbow with only 6 colors, so it's the imitation rainbow. But it says, "Be kind." And then, of course, the lady next to her, it says 8647.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's okay to advocate for violence as long as you cover it with rainbows and shit. Just glitter rainbows and unicorns, and then we can advocate for violence. It'll be totally fine.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Oh, my God. These people are such hypocrites. I can't even stand these people anymore, bro.
Yeah, think about it.
Big Pete. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, Pete? Howdy, partner. Dude. Well, think about what they did with the Ukrainian war. They're supposed to be like the hippies and you're not supposed to be fighting all these wars, man. They're coming after you. Like when I think of hippies, that's what I think of. I think of like a stone dude just sitting there and
yeah.
But for some reason, they advocate for like the Ukrainian war, a proxy war that our deep state is performing overseas, that is ending in hundreds of thousands of lives being sacrificed for this elitist pissing contest that's going on. But then they'll turn around and just be like, "You're supposed to be kind to everybody and tolerant and accepting."
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know, dude. It's kind of wild to see the how people are so beholden to propaganda. Man, I couldn't pronounce that for some reason. I was like, man, I'm about to stroke out. But anyway, so like, in the 70s, like peace and love, bruh, and like all anti-Vietnam up until now, like, no, leftists were against Afghanistan and Iraq, and then back pro-war for Ukraine.
Oh, 100%. And arming all the citizens in Ukraine. So they're all for it. They're like, "Oh, wait, but they justify it like they're being invaded by Russia, so they need them." And it's like, bitch, that's why we have it. That's why we have guns to prevent that from happening.
Oh my gosh, these people, like, goodness. Dude, I don't even understand like what are their concepts? I just, it bounces so back and forth. I don't get it, dude.
Well, I've been really trying to understand. I went on a podcast yesterday. It was Mary. Hold on. Let me just I want to get her name right. Mary Walter. So I went on her podcast yesterday, and she was wondering, like, basically how I'm able to talk to lefties or like try and convey my opinions without coming across like the enemy, right? And I've noticed that the longer I'm on X and social media in general, that I'm actually getting a little bit more harsh in the way that I convey my opinions, because the blatant hypocrisy from the left in the way that they see their worldview, it's they're able to compartmentalize these things, like exactly like in that picture. Like they'll be
Right.
buddies right there. It'll say 8647 on one shirt and then be kind on the next. And they're just like, yeah, that's what we're super kind people.
Right. Yeah, that
And
makes sense. Okay.
kindness means 8647, because that's what this utilitarian, like it's like a compartmentalized utilitarian worldview where they don't really believe. Actually, I'm not even. You know what?
Yeah, I think I understand.
I've tried to figure them out. It's difficult, man.
No, like it's almost like, all right. So am I breaking up? Shit.
Now you're back
Come on,
now.
I'm back. Okay, so it's almost like using that photo as an analogy. They can take those two people and like have two different like belief systems in one. So you put like one of their, those retarded plexiglass screens during COVID, like put it right in between the middle of them, and they believe both to be true. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's just the way that they're able to compartmentalize these things, and like each subject is like an individual complete.
Correct.
It's like they don't actually have a worldview. It's like their worldview that they have is not there. It's non-existent. And they can just like tap into each compartmentalized box of regurgitated rhetoric that they can spew, because they've been told it over and over again. And they were good at school, right? They're educated, which means that they're really good at memorizing things. And I mean, that's pretty much what school is. And that's what I hated about school, was they're like, you just need to memorize these couple things so you can pass the test. And then like,
check the boxes.
Even though it doesn't apply to anything you're going to do ever, just memorize this thing so you can pass the test, and then it'll be gone. And so that's like when people say that they're educated, I've met so many people. Okay, sidebar. Okay, sidebar really quick.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Go ahead. Off topic. Okay, I've met so many people who look completely uneducated and like rednecks, like white trash rednecks. Okay. But they can diagnose something wrong with my vehicle and fix it with no feasible tools. And they just understand the way that motors work. And it's something that like you wouldn't learn in like a tech school, right? It's like improvising and, just the general understanding of how a motor, a transmission, like how all those things work. They'll be able to diagnose it, understand it, and then fix the problem on the spot. Like that's when I think of smart people, that kind of intelligence is what I think of. I don't think that like, okay, I have this master's degree and so I'm smart. I just don't see that, because I've met so many people who have degrees that they've never used and have no bearing on their life, but they're like, look at this, I have a shiny degree I spent $80,000 on. And it's like, I know what it takes to pass school. Like it's not that hard. It takes effort, but it's not that hard.
Right.
Okay. Chill.
Yeah, I think you're comparing like two things, like two different types of intelligence. You have your like common sense or mechanical intelligence, and then you have like being able to study literature, like a book smarts and street smarts, if you want to break it down even further than that.
Yeah,
like,
maybe that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, I do have a bachelor's degree, but like, when's the last time I used the Pythagorean theorem? High school? College? I don't know. I mean,
think you learned that in elementary school. Actually, you know what? Dude, I'm not sure. I don't remember when I learned that.
I forgot it so long ago. I don't even remember when I learned it. So anyways, you know what I mean? But like more practicality, dude. Like things that you actually use in life. You know, your mechanical degrees are like your mechanics and learning how to. Oh God, that one threw me off.
I'm sorry. This is
Yeah,
a great
no.
comment though. So Mulatto Trumpo says, "Yep, I got a degree in computer science, and I ended up making memes."
Memes won the 2016 election, dude. Let's be real. So,
Hey, that's an art form. Like being good at
absolutely it is.
sharing memes, understanding sharing memes in an appropriate manner is an actual art form. If you do it right, like it there's a lot of people that will spam all kinds of memes, but it takes
Right.
it does take
Like,
skill in order to make them.
Rican memes, for example. I couldn't think of his name. But when he made the one with Tampon Tim, he was struggling with the shotgun, but he was actually holding a gigantic tampon and like fooling around with it. Dude, brilliant. One of the best
Beautiful.
memes of all time, in my opinion. But, like, yes, I do agree, dude. 100%. Memeism or memology. I don't know how we would say that, but it is
Memeglish?
memeglish. Okay,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Do you speak
Anyway.
memeglish?
No, I don't. What? No, I don't want to be deported. I speak English. I'm just making shit up as I go, just like my entire life. Let's go. Memetics. I love it.
Yeah, there used to be a newspaper called Political Cartoons. Well, I would feel as if the political cartoons were probably good for
Meme box. That was good. Y'all keep this chat alive. That's some good stuff, y'all.
Oh shit. What was I gonna say? Okay, political cartoons were probably good for a couple of years, but they were more than likely just co-opted by deep state actors or
Yeah.
whatever kind of
I was about to say the C A.
yeah, yes, exactly. Very easy to influence people and encourage them to go down one political pathway when you give them a lot of money for what
sure.
they do. And it's not even that they have to like psychologically train somebody. It's just that they have to prop up the individual who has
Correct.
those beliefs already. So that's why
And
you
then
see
just-
so many stupid influencers, man. In
Oh,
all
like
reality,
the hot
that's
girl
why.
and all that shit. Yes. Oh God.
Well, and Harry Sisson, right? People
Oh,
like that.
Okay. You going even worse
JoJo
than
from
ours.
Jers.
Okay, gotcha.
What's the other ones? I have
But
them all muted.
they're
So
paid. Yeah, they're paid propagandists, dude.
yes,
That's why they get boosted so much. They they probably have bot forms, in my opinion, that just share their shit.
I could see that. You know what's interesting is in the last month, I've had a ton of DM messages from like, I'm assuming bots or some
Like crypto bots.
No, not crypto, but they're saying that hey, you can buy likes and shares for cheap for me, and I've never responded to any of them, but it's just it's insulting to me in a way that like you really think
That's a
I'm
good
gonna
way to get
fucking
banned
pay
if
for
that's
that shit?
legit. You know
It's
what I
like,
mean?
bitch, I have a power bill to pay. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
pay for your likes.
No, somebody messaged me. I forgot. What is your tweet fee? I said it was a verified account.
Oh yes, I've gotten those as well.
I said $69,420 per. 69,420. No, I never buy into that, dude. I if you're on social media, do not click links. Do not do all that shit, spam, malware type shit. They're gonna hack your account. Just don't even engage with that.
Well, some of it's real. Some of it they would actually pay you for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
I know
trust
that
any of
there.
that.
I know for a fact that there was an account that I've associated with that was paid to promote tweets. I'm not going to call them out right now because they've changed their ways, as far as I know. But they were offered money to promote certain tweets, and they did, and then they got caught. You guys can figure that out on your own.
Gotcha.
I don't really care either way.
I mean, some people call it capitalism. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's your account. You do what you want with it. But
You know
anyways,
what's crazy? You know what's actually crazy about this is like there's so many people in this sphere, this political influencer sphere, where when they see that I have like 200,000 followers,
Right.
they assume that I make a ton of money from it. And
Yeah.
dude, it's like maybe I believe in honestly making money. Like I would love to make a lot more money, but I can't do it in a fucking in a way that would degrade my integrity, because that's the only way. Like, okay, let me try and phrase this properly.
Okay.
In my life experience, the only way I know how to lead is by example. And if I sell myself out for something as petty as a couple $1,000s, then everything that I stand for will be destroyed overnight. And all of the really positive posts that I've made will just be thrown in the gutter. And I'm not saying that like I have gold sitting in my account as far as like wisdom or things like that, but I genuinely try to give my opinion and help people as much as I can. And if I sell myself out, I just but then again, I don't want to stay fucking poor forever, you know? That kind of
it's a fine line, dude. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
But what if people were like paying you to promote, like, I don't know, fucking sunflowers or some shit? I don't know. I'm trying to think of something positive, and that's the first thing that popped in my mind. But something like positive, and you were able to get paid for it, would you do it? Even if it was a couple $1,000s, if it stuck to your moral boundaries?
It depends, because my X page has been a mission, right? I set out on a mission. I felt that as if I had a calling from deep within my soul in order to actually affect change, and I don't want to deviate from that for money. And in that same aspect, like I've missed so many opportunities because I can't afford flights. I can't afford to take 3 days off of work. And I mean, t-shirts would be a good way. Yeah.
Team Cowboy, Team Indian, or Team Engine, Team What?
Yes,
Team
we've
White.
discussed this.
Dude,
White.
yes. Yes. I think that'd be awesome. Anyways, yeah, man. So I do agree. It's kind of like a fine line between like really trying to so if you want to do this full time, you're at some point you do have to sell out, though, because like you can't, like, I don't even know how to put this into words, because I don't think it's selling out if like you're trying to do this full time, because like, all right, say the podcast network, for example, say we got sponsored by a fucking big box store or something. Is that like selling out?
If they have, products from overseas slaves, then yeah.
True.
That's why we have shopwithamerica.us.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's something I fully believe in. You know how much money I've made from that? Like $6. It hasn't been a lot. And
That's
part of it,
yeah.
Part of it is, and
that one.
I'll be completely honest about this. Okay. Part of it is because I have a really difficult time personally making videos that promotes it, even though they like the opportunity is there, and I believe in their mission. I believe in what shopwithamerica.us is.
Yeah.
I believe in it wholeheartedly, but for some reason I personally have a very difficult time reading through talking points in a genuine way where that would actually get people to sign up for it. And even though I know that like it aligns with my moral worldview, I just haven't gotten to the point yet where I have been able to accomplish that in this journey, because I have something wrong with my brain, and it's like it's like it's keeping me financially poor because I just it feels like there's a part of me that is selling out. Even though, like I said, I agree with my moral worldview and everything.
Yeah, better than that. How about this? creating our own YouTube, Facebook, etc., and not on Rumble. Because think big tech is the way to reach a ton of people, but then at the same time you're kind of selling your soul to being on big tech, because they're the ones that were silencing conservatives
Yeah.
and all that other stuff. So at the end of the day, like you kind of have to make a choice between the two. Like, is it the message or is it your moral fight? Like your grounding of it. Because if you stay stuck in like, I'm not gonna try to, I don't want to say sell my soul or any of that shit, but like, dude, if you don't put yourself out there and try to get your reach and your voice and your message out there, it's like the thing with Shop for America, it's a word of mouth thing. Because they're not going to sell on like these huge broadcast companies. They're not going to buy those time slots. Does that make sense?
No, they don't at all. They don't do that.
You know what I mean?
The way that they advertise is through people like us, and that's it. That's the only advertisement that they have. And if I'm going to be an advertisement, like I just need to figure out how to get myself to do that, I guess. It's like I don't shy away from hard work. I don't shy away from, but for some reason, and this is one of the reasons why I never really went to any protests or anything like that, is and even churches. I had a big issue with this with the last church that my wife and I went to, is they would tell us to repeat stuff. And I don't like that. I truly, like, when somebody tries to get me to say something, it bugs the shit out of me, and I don't want to do it at all. Like I said, there's something wrong with my brain, but it's got me this far. That's the thing, is it's like,
that's true.
If I stay true to my gut, then it'll probably work out.
I would, yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I remember your post, dude, from about a year and a half, 2 years ago. How you're talking about your followers or whatever. Like, I officially have more followers than my hometown. You remember those?
Yes. I remember that tweet, and I actually remember where I was at too when I took the picture for that.
I can't remember the actual photo, but
I had 4,500 followers when I made that tweet, and it was almost twice as much as my hometown, which is about 2,500 people. But anyway, continue. Sorry.
Okay. No, I'm just saying, like, so what your message is. I mean, I wouldn't want to, like, I'm just saying, like, stick to your roots, I guess, as posting, because your message is true and it's what's gotten you to where you are today. But I think me and you are both at a point where our message needs to be expanded a little bit further, because, like, let's be real, on X, I mean, we're beholden to what the algorithm has for the day. Same with Rumble. So I'm just saying, like, if we expand kind of our reach onto different areas, even though it might not be like within our moral fiber, because I hate Facebook, dude. I hate Meta. I hate all these censoring assholes, and I always will. But at the end of the day, like, are we supposed to limit ourselves just because of them? No, we need to push our fight to them.
Yeah, this kind of goes back to taking back ground, right? Because I remember having this conversation with Adam, the lectern leader, which, by the way, he's going to be coming on next week. He's a great guy. I seriously, like, he's one of the most genuine people I've ever met in person, and has, like, this incredibly positive mindset. And like, when you are around Adam in person, he actually, like, there's like an uplifting mood. He has like that uplifting aura that he puts out, to speak in hippie talk.
Yeah, he does.
But he'll be coming on next week. It'll be really cool. But I've discussed with him about whether or not I should have my kids in public school. And especially in Washington State, where the laws now are so evil that in the way that they target children, I'm in a good area, and I've taught my son well. I have faith that he will be able to navigate this this I guess this time, this
Yeah.
time in history. He has to be able to do this because he has to build up those strengths in order to
Yeah.
combat this later on in life.
Yeah. But I mean, so raising a kid in Texas versus raising a kid in Washington State are two completely different battles.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like your
Maybe.
son,
Maybe.
I don't know, man. My county was 99.8% Trump. So I'm just saying, I mean,
Well,
like, dude, I'm
all right.
MAGA country.
Walking down Easy Street over there. Man, what is up with your internet tonight, Steve? Your internet sucks.
Dude, we're getting.
Go tell your wife to get off the
thunderstorms,
Wi-Fi.
dude. Somebody's cutting up. No, there's thunderstorms rolling in right now, dude.
Oh,
of course.
It's beautiful over here.
Yeah, I know. In commie land.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things, you know. I gotta like tie my hair.
Thunderstorms getting bad,
it's getting hot in this room. I'm tying my hair up.
Okay.
I'm actually thinking of.
So what's the next topic?
Oh yeah. We
want to talk about the big beautiful bill or no? I know.
Yeah, we could.
This is kind of what we normally do, like on Fridays, where we just kind of ramble on and BS and oh yeah, we're talking about conspiracies and which we need to talk about too for Friday. I think of a good one. I got one in mind.
Yeah, I got a couple good ones, but the big beautiful bill that's being passed has actually seemed to blackpill a lot of people, including Elon Musk, who has kind of seen the light as far as like what we've been talking about for a long time. You should not identify as a Republican or Democrat because those are parties that are representative in the past year or decades past. They've been an institution of its own, an entity of its own that has been building itself up, and it's like a parasite. Okay.
Yes.
They have been stealing from the American people to enrich themselves and make themselves bigger. So whether you vote, and I've heard this from a lot of, libertarians, quote unquote, because nobody really knows what a libertarian is. Even a libertarian doesn't even know what they are because, I mean, they'll tell you what they are, but they can't agree with each other ever on anything. Yeah. So they don't actually know what they are. If you get a definition of a libertarian from a libertarian and you ask 5 libertarians individually, you'll get 5 different definitions of what a libertarian is.
The other 4 would tell you you're not libertarian enough. I'm telling you, dude. I swear to God, they're like CrossFitters. I swear to God, dude. But I feel more aligned fiscally libertarian. Does that make sense? Because the Libertarian Party now, I think they're like they're the leader or whoever was running for president was like pro LGBTQ, like kind of a weirdo. It was kind of strange.
He was like super gay and about the whole LGBTQ movement. I think his name started with a C. I can't remember. But yeah, you're right. So I won't identify as a libertarian either. That's why I say I am a free-thinking patriot.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll agree with Republicans. Sometimes I'll agree with Democrats. It is very rare these days, but there have been times. It is possible for it to happen. They've gone a little crazy. And then there are times when I agree with libertarians. But more importantly, I agree with the founding fathers, first and foremost. I agree with the country that they wanted to build, and we've strayed so far from that. And it is so easy to get caught up in this my team versus your team bullshit, so we can compete with it online and have I definitely won that argument, and then you get that dopamine hit, and then it's all well and good, but then they're still then we're $37 trillion with a big beautiful bill being passed. And you know what? I like Trump. Like overall as a person, I like him. And I assumed that the goal was going to be more destructive than it is, because it seems.
Well, we've had this discussion before, though.
I know, but
I know you're blackpilling our audience again. I'm just kidding.
No, I want to kick their ass and get them into gear. It's necessary.
I know, dude. I know. But here's the problem, man. It's the whole distract and divide that they're doing with the Uniparty. That it's gonna take a lot for people to understand that, like, if more people knew about the Uniparty and what they were and how they were enriching themselves for these last few decades and sending us to $37 trillion in debt. I mean, dude, like it's like if more people knew, shit would be different. I don't know how to explain it a little bit more plainly than that. It's just like me and you see it, and most of our audience, I'm sure, does. Maybe not Truthful Troll. I just wanted to call him out on that one because he's always in the chat section. I love that guy. But anyways, dude, yeah, it's just so, like, this thing with the big beautiful bill, in my opinion, like, I agree with Elon Musk how we should not raise the debt ceiling and make this higher or whatever it needs to be. But also at the same time, like, we voted Donald Trump in, and I don't want to, but I'm not at the point where I'm like in a cult. Does that make sense? So I can disagree with what Trump has to say. But the one thing I am going to say is that Elon Musk would not have had the keys to the White House if Donald Trump didn't trust him. So that's kind of what I want to get at with that one, man. I'm going to let this one play out. I just, whenever you see Gavin Newsom and Bernie Sanders agreeing with Elon Musk, that should raise a red flag also. So at the end of the day, I'm just going to let this one kind of play out. And just, it is what it is.
Well, in all reality, we don't really have a choice unless we wanted a legitimate revolution, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of the rhetoric that was coming from Elon, and maybe he assumed this too, and it was kind of the trap that Trump fell into in his first term, was that he assumed that he could go in, and when he says, I want to make this change, that the people would fall in line. And or not the people, but the deep state, the bureaucrats, the ones who could actually enact his will. He assumed that they would just fall in line and get it done. Turns out that almost everybody wanted to continue on the deep state antics, and they opposed his almost every whim. And it's kind of the same way the same thing that has been happening with Elon Musk, is that he went in there and he was like, we're going to make all these cuts. And with this big old MAGA movement, the Congress, the Senate, they're going to codify this, and we are going to dismantle this shit. And he gets in there, they make all these cuts, they expose all of this ridiculous spending, this funding of terrorism all around the world, which we already knew, but now we have receipts for. It's like, hey, look, they're definitely funding terrorism, and then the media goes like, well, no, we're actually not. Look at these starving kids. They also received a 1/100th of the money, but at least we're actually helping them with U.S. aid. And then our Senate majority leader, or our Congress, our Senate, they just decide like, I guess we're just not going to codify anything. So it'll be business as usual once Trump runs his term out.
Yeah, I know, dude. So many people are talking about convention of states too. Honestly, like, I made a post the other day, and Mom of Data Republican like reposted it, which is like this outside of the box thinking. I was like, why can't 535 of us just run for office and get all these people out of here? It would take a lot of money, but I mean, other than that, man, I don't see any real way out of this, because they don't, there are no term limits, and they're not going to vote for term limits, dude. There's no way in fucking hell they're going to put themselves out of a job. I just don't know, dude. Like, But the difference between us and the Democrats, we are trying to do something with the rhinoism within our own party. The Democrats, dude, they're going to stick together no matter what. It's just like, oh, I'm going to get that win or whatever. But for us, we are there trying to hold these people accountable for what they vote for and what they stand for. So, in my opinion, that's why I'm always going to side. I don't give a fuck about Democrats. I'm going to disagree with them 100% of the time because they're communists, dude, and they are a cancer to this country. So that's why I'm going to side with the Republicans, but be a libertarian-ish in the same token.
You know what's actually funny about this is that the only way to get rid of disloyal party members is through some form of fascism. And I know that the left has accused the right of fascism for years and years. But they kind of conflate it with it's like anybody who's loyal, then all of a sudden you're a fascist. But I'm running out of options as far as like where the future is supposed to go with continuing to try and work within the rules. And I don't understand quite how I don't understand how it can be done when the opposition is so deceptive. And I mean, they're targeting children. They're doing very evil things. And it is
martial
literally
law, dude.
Yeah, that's the scary part. And I don't know, I don't know what all that would entail. And so it obviously, I don't want fascism because immediately I would become a revolutionary to it. And that's probably why all communists and fascism, right? Those are both authoritarian views,
right?
That kill a shit ton of people, and they're both bad. But at the same time, under the democracy or republic that we have, we had 100,000 people dying a year from fentanyl overdose. We have tens of thousands or millions coming across the border who are completely unvetted and causing an unknown amount of chaos in our country. So how do you weigh those two properly in order for someone like Trump, okay, who has been accused of being a fascist, but has never actually done anything fascistic? I mean, when do you say okay, green light, time to actually be a fascist and kick out the disloyal members of our party so we can actually enact some of these things that will hopefully save our country, because it's not guaranteed. Our ideas, they sound good and we have good intentions, but it's not guaranteed that it's going to save the country. Because
I mean, I agree. You could be ushering in a great reset, but which way does the great reset go is up to the people, in my opinion. So I think best case scenario, all right, here, let me back it up. Just think to yourself what the founding fathers would do right now if this country is in the shape that it's in, right? And I'm not going to say any more on that, but I think it would take something radical, dude, because we've been infringed on for so long that I don't think anything other than founding father stuff. Does that make sense? It's going to take something radical to change this country because of how much weight and effort has been put onto restricting us. So you fight fire with fire. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, well, and think about it. When I heard that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino were getting into the FBI, my assumption was that they were going to dismantle the systems that made it possible for the corruption to occur, for the spying on the American people to occur. But instead, once they got in there, it sure as hell seems like they want to put on a good face and represent the FBI and bring back honor and integrity to it, while doing nothing to dismantle the possibility of that kind of corruption happening overnight once they leave.
Yes. No, yeah. it's dude, it's a tough pill to swallow, and it's because like just think about it this way: if you go the more fascist route, what are the ramifications behind that? Is there ever are we for sure going to go back to our nation's roots? You know, once
No,
you open that
it's not
box,
guaranteed.
that's when all hell breaks loose. So, you know what I mean? It's
well,
kind of
especially
crazy.
with AI now. Like, dude, okay,
True.
so let's say if the founding fathers were alive today and they tried to
Mhm.
do the same exact thing, the founding fathers had the benefit of being a continent away from the king, being a
True.
like they were separated by an ocean
Ocean,
of
yes.
between the ruling power of the world. They didn't have drones. They didn't have intercontinental ballistic missiles. They didn't have spy tech that could see everything all the time. They didn't have data on them knowing every text message they sent, every tweet
Right.
they've posted, every step they've taken for the last decade. So I'm not saying that we should be cowardly in this manner, but I don't understand how the founding fathers would like back then. Do you know what one of
Right.
the first flags of the Revolutionary War was?
No, I don't. I think it kind of broke up.
It was the appeal to heaven flag, because they thought that
Yeah.
they needed an appeal to heaven in order to win this war, this Revolutionary War, to basically kick out the few soldiers. And I say few because, again, they were separated by an ocean entirely. It was not logistically easy to create a war overseas for the British Empire like they tried to do in keeping control of America, but they almost won,
Right.
even with that. And
True.
so the founding fathers were making an appeal to heaven. What how can we do, I don't see any logistical way that the American people would be able to pull off an actual revolution like the founding fathers did back in 1776, especially with AI and the way that they, like, the AI that we have, okay, the video that we have, the technology that we're allowed to see is 10 times less than what the military has, than what DARPA has. When we think that we can just like overthrow the government with AR-15s, all of a sudden they're going to bust out 500,000 drones and that they'll be sent to your house. What the fuck can you do?
Yeah. So, and then like, so you have this like inter-country conflict, right? But think about what our enemies are watching us too. Imagine if that would happen, then dude, that's prime time invasion time from like a China or not Iran. They don't have that capability, but like an India,
They wouldn't
maybe
even have to invade.
deal with it.
Dude, they could just
Well,
nudge sides. They would do what we do with every conflict overseas. They would fund, they would supply equipment. And so like if they wanted the true ideals of America to fall, and we decided, like, let's say, you know, patriots of the country decided to rise up in arms against the forces that be. China, Russia, they would fund. They wouldn't fund me. I know that for a fact. They wouldn't fund people wanting to fight for God-given rights. They wouldn't. They would fund the commies. And we would be screwed because all of a sudden they wouldn't just have, you know, dildos and butt plugs up in Seattle. They'd get freaking rocket launchers and drones.
Yeah, man, I'm just gonna say that like if something like that in the United States were to happen, bro, our enemies would try something. I'm just gonna throw that out there, dude. I just tactically speaking, if there was ever a vulnerable moment to take over America, that would be it.
Yeah.
Especially if like shit really hit the fan. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Just
Yeah,
not too
absolutely.
simple, yeah.
I mean, this
Just not
is
too
the
simple.
frustrating part. Elon Musk was saying that this was a revolution and that they were going to dismantle a lot of the government. And they've kind of tried. it seems like the effort is like, so. But a lot of it is like, okay, we spent a couple $1 million here and there on like, transgender operas in Guatemala, shit like that. And it's like, that's cool. Yeah. It's cool that we're not technically spending money on that anymore, but this big, beautiful bill is about to pass. And if we're not going to actually hold anybody, like, okay, let me put this in perspective for you guys really quick. Doge found billions, if not trillions of dollars in frivolous spending. Money that is disappearing. No receipts, just money that was written off. Like, yep, we spent it on this. No receipts, but it definitely went there probably.
Yeah,
okay?
I know, dude.
Hang on. How many people have been arrested? None. But I'll tell you what, if you fuck up your taxes, you know who's knocking on your door? The goddamn IRS. You make $60,000 a year, and you didn't report your Etsy business, or what is it? Etsy. Yeah, your Etsy business that you started selling stuff on the side to try and get by. The IRS, armed, by the way, is going to come to your house and take you to prison. Never mind the trillions of dollars that have disappeared. Never mind that the Washington state government just accidentally sent $660 million to the freaking hackers who took advantage of the COVID situation. No accountability there. No accountability for Cuomo, who was sending young people infected with COVID into nursing homes that killed over 15,000 elderly people. No accountability there. No accountability for them. No, it is always just the little bullshit that they will spend a shit ton of money on to persecute the little guy as to prevent a revolution of sorts. They don't want another Marvin Heemeyer, right? Because that inspires people to stand up against the machine itself. They will spend endless money because they can fucking print it to persecute you, because your $60,000 a year is that important for them to get.
Yeah.
Never mind the fucking trillions that they're spending over and over and just printing endless money. Both parties, they don't give a shit. They'll come after you, though. Gosh.
Yeah, absolutely. And they do that to quell the people. They give them bread and circuses. That's what this has been, man. That's why we're $37 trillion in debt right now. That's why these politicians that are these people in Congress with $174,000 a year salary are multimillionaires, is because no one's been held accountable for decades, dude. And nothing is going to change until they're held accountable. Plain and simple. And that's why, to your point, Maurice, why people are so frustrated right now, because we were promised like destruction, or Elon Musk with the fucking chainsaw like coming down. Like, dude, where is it? Like, okay, we're going to codify some Doge cuts, and it's good. They're going to vote on it next Friday. But for only $9 billion, I believe, out of the 100 times more than has been found. It's ridiculous, dude. And until, like, I'm going to keep repeating myself, until people get arrested and held accountable, it's never going to change, ever.
I mean, folks used to get tarred and feathered for doing wrong things. But Elon Musk retweeted this. This is from the rabbit hole. I'll show you guys really quick.
I like that account.
Yeah, they do pretty good. And I don't know when this was posted exactly. It looks like it was from the late 80s or early 90s. So we'll watch this video, and he'll talk about inflation and kind of what we've been experiencing. So
inflation is the most destructive disease known to modern societies. There is nothing which will destroy a society so thoroughly and so fully as letting inflation run riot. Inflation doesn't arise because you got consumers who are spendthrift. They've always been spendthrift. It doesn't arise because you've got the businessmen who are greedy. They've always been greedy. Inflation arises because we as citizens have been asking you as politicians to perform an impossible task. We've been asking you to spend somebody else's money on us, but not to spend our money on anybody else. Everybody talks against inflation, but what he means is that he wants the prices of the things he sells to go up and the prices of the things he buys to go down. The real tax on the American people is not what you label taxes. It's total spending. If Congress spends $50 billion more than it takes in, if government spends $50 billion, who do you suppose pays that $50 billion?
Of course.
The Arab sheiks aren't paying it. Santa Claus isn't paying it. The Tooth Fairy isn't paying it. You and I, as taxpayers, are paying it indirectly through hidden taxation.
Dude, absolutely. And like I made an analogy, I made a post like, okay, say, consider America as a household. You can only spend with what is within your budget, or you're going to be in trouble. So if you go rack up like $30,000 or $40,000 in credit card debt and you have shit in savings, dude, you're going to eventually go bankrupt. And that is exactly what's happening here, dude. We're not living. We're living within our means. These assholes in Washington, D.C., they are printing money. They're overspending. They're pocketing all this money, dude. It's got to end. So on that point, I agree with Elon Musk.
It almost feels like the only way to stop this is to stop funding the government.
Stop paying taxes. I don't know.
I didn't want to say that, but yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
I mean, that it almost feels like that's the only way. Is like, how else are we going to get anything done? Because they're literally printing and spending money. When I was born in 1991, okay,
Who, youngin'?
We were like $3 billion in debt as a country. And now we're $37 trillion in debt. But that's not even like the obligations that we have in the future. That's like right now we're $37 trillion in debt.
Right.
If you add in the obligations, we're like $100 trillion in debt. This is fucking insane. There's zero chance we're ever going to be able to do anything with this money. So
yeah.
Or with this kind of debt. And
yeah.
Even with someone like the revolution that the people voted for, which was Elon Musk to come in and clean house, is not being backed up by the government, and it's not nothing is actually being taken care of. It was like, here's the false hope that we're going to give you. Now sit back down and shut the fuck up. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like they're saying to us right now. And it's like, why should I keep paying you?
Their muscle right now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They absolutely are. So this is the point where like, this is a crossroads. At the end of the day, like, I don't know. So the way I consider Washington, D.C. right now is that annoying friend that always wants to borrow money from you, but never does anything for you in return. You know those kind of people, right? Hey, can you spot me $10? Can you spot me $20? And I'm going to pay you back. I'm going to pay you back. But they never fucking do. Ever.
Yeah. I mean, in all reality, it feels like the only voice that we have, the only available option that I'm seeing moving forward is to stop funding them. But it can't just be like 15,
one or two of us.
Yeah. It can't be just that, because, I mean, then we'll all go to prison, and it's like, then we'll disappear, and we won't have any kind of influence at all, because everybody else is too scared to do the same fucking thing. But if you stop funding them, then what's going to happen? Oh, shit, I don't know. But it'll slow it down. It'll stop whatever the fuck they're doing right now, or they'll just print a shit ton of money. If like 30% of the country stop paying their taxes entirely, what would they do?
Of tax-paying citizens?
Of tax-paying citizens. If 30% just decided, like, we're done. You are not representing what we voted for. And this is the majority of the country. And this is something that, like, I would appeal to the left as well and say, hey, everything that you wanted is not getting done. Because, I mean, yeah, it's not just Trump. It is both parties have been fucking all of us over. And so if like 30% of tax-paying citizens just decided, like, okay, we're done. This is taxation without representation. We're not doing it anymore. What would happen? They don't have enough people.
Yeah, I agree, but that's the problem. You're never going to convince them. I don't believe. I believe they're so like out of establishment bootlickers, you know, that it's never going to happen. But man, we kind of ran over time, dude. I feel like we could.
Oh my gosh, we are. Oh
Yeah.
Jesus! I didn't even realize that we were over an hour. I just, you know, I mean, this is something that I've legitimately been trying to rack my brain and figure out what's the next step, because it felt like Trump and Elon and in this MAGA movement, it felt like this was like a last hope. And seeing the pushback and the kickback from Republicans and Democrats alike, it feels like the American people don't matter. They don't have a voice. That the machine, the establishment, the deep state, the uniparty, whatever you want to call it, they're going to continue to enrich themselves as long as we keep funding them. I mean, we talk about like our sponsor, right? Shopwithamerica.us. If you want Disney Plus, these woke companies, if you want Walmart, if you want to stop supporting overseas slavery, if you want to support American companies, then you have to spend your dollars with American companies. Well, we're spending our dollars voluntarily. I mean, they have a gun to your head, but we're still voluntarily doing it, you know, giving our money to the government, funding everything that we hate. I mean, we haven't seen the Epstein list. We haven't seen prosecutions of these elites who have been blackmailed into whatever. Like, we don't even know how many positions, how many bills were put forth that were from completely compromised politicians that only did it because they were blackmailed. We don't know. 99%. And this is the kind of thing that I actually want to know. And I want to know if we actually have any kind of representation, or if we've just had blackmailed puppets for the last 30 years putting forth bills that fucks over the American people, that hides their corruption, and that continues to build a machine.
Yes, it's the latter. I promise you. It's always been the latter. So,
yeah. Hey, good news, you guys. Theodis Daniels, he is the father of DJ Daniels, the little boy who was honored as a Secret Service agent in the address to Congress that Trump made. He has joined the Patriots Prayer Network, and he will be doing a podcast. It'll be very cool.
Nice.
So I'm excited for that as well.
Very, very cool.
But I guess we are over time, and
yeah.
We'll try and do Friday.
I feel like
again.
we can go down another rabbit hole and talk for another hour and a half, but I'm tired, dude. Had a long day. So
I feel that, brother. Well, you guys,
and I think my service is about to go out. I'm hearing thunder.
Yeah, I can see you glitching, so that's, you know, it is what it is. But thank you guys for tuning in.
Let me just do this.
Share this podcast everywhere.
Have a good night.
Okay. All right. See you later, Steve. God bless.
Peace.
You guys, thank you for tuning in to the Patriots Prayer Network and Cowboys and Indians podcast. I really appreciate it. I know Steve does as well. If you can, please share this podcast everywhere. Please visit shopwithamerica.us and fromthefarm.org. I actually have all those in the description down below. We are growing as a podcast network. I'm very excited about it. We have a partnership coming up with a streaming platform that I'm very excited about. So, again, please share the podcast, engage with us. I really appreciate you guys lighting up the chat. I see almost every comment. We're not quite to the point where the comments, you know, just fly past the screen, but I do try and read them. So, yes. There it is. I guess we'll try and be back Friday for Conspiracy Friday. We'll see how that goes. I got a little issue going on here with my high quality microphone. So take care, you guys. God bless you all. God bless America. We're going to keep fighting no matter what. Even if the news is bad, it's our only hope. It's you and me. It is the American people taking a stand and actually fighting against the deep establishment. It's not just going to be you vote every 4 years. That's not going to solve the problem. We're going to have to look for different avenues in order to fix this. So God bless you guys. God bless America. We'll see you later.